Streaming.
Hi, good morning. We're here for science this morning on this Tuesday. Looking for some storms this afternoon, but I don't mind. May rain. And it's not going to be cold. It's going to be 68 degrees. And look, I might be crazy, but I would walk in it if I could. Walking in the rain. Warm rain. Beautiful. So this is science. Welcome, welcome. If you haven't been here today, we are going to talk about um, natural gas. These are the energy forms. We started with coal and oil. So now we're talking about natural gas. And if you have a gas stove in your kitchen, if you have gas heat in your house, you know how much we use it and we have relied on natural gas. And we thought that it was maybe better than oil and coal. And now we're finding out some things that make that questionable. So let's take a look at that. So I want you to think about the following questions. Where we are going to describe how natural gas forms like crude oil, like oil, but at a higher temperature, and the techniques for obtaining this oil may be environmentally harmful. So, as we read, think about what is fracking, how does it work? Um, our current president, as a part of his candidacy, said he would not ban fracking, but we're going to talk about that. And why is natural gas considered more environmentally sound than some of the fossil fuels? What are some of the problems with fracking fluids? So, those are the things we're going to look for. Basically, you just want to be able to identify the different types of energy and how um, we've benefited in our society, but also what has been the cost. So, that's really what you'll need to be able to recognize on the test. So I'm going to share with you my screen, get to our first page, and I'm going to click on this one. And here we go. So what you have here is a picture of, okay, why am I having issues today? What you have is a picture of an oil driller. And what they used to do is burn off the natural gas when we drilled for oil, considering it to be waste. And it's found with petroleum. And companies are that are only interested in harvesting petroleum will let it burn. But that's wasting energy. And these days, natural gas is becoming more popular. And natural gas consists mostly of methane. And it is found with petroleum, and people prefer to burn natural gas over petroleum because it burns more cleanly. It's often found with coal or oil in underground deposits. It has formed with those other fossil fuels. It is a fossil fuel. And one difference between natural gas and oil is that natural gas forms at higher temperatures. The largest gas reserves in this country are located in Rocky Mountain states, Colorado. What are the other Rocky Mountain states? Colorado, Nevada, Utah. I drove through some of those. I got to work on that. Texas, and the Gulf of Mexico region. California has natural gas as well in the northern Sacramento Valley. So, natural gas must be processed first. And what they do is to separate it from poisonous chemicals and remove the water. And then it's delivered to our homes where it's used for cooking and heating. It's also a major source for powering turbines, these huge engines to make electricity. And it releases most of its energy as heat when it burns. And then the power plant's able to use that heat either in the form of gas, hot gases, or steam to spin these turbines. And then the spinning turbines turn the generators, and the generators create electricity. Most natural gas comes from the wells that produce petroleum. And more of it now is coming from a new method called hydraulic fracking. And this is in the news a lot. Fracking is popular because it makes it easier and quicker to get the natural gas out of rock. And here's a picture. When they frack, they pump fluids through a hole, okay? And the fluids create fractures. That's where the name comes from, in the rock that contains the natural gas. And then chemicals in the fluid prevent the fractures from closing. And so the natural gas can then be pumped to the surface. Consequences of frac gas extraction and use. Well, here's a benefit. It burns cleaner than other fossil fuels. It causes less air pollution, but it also produces less carbon dioxide than the other fossil fuels. We talked previously about the impact of excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And it burns cleaner and it has a good reputation, but it does emit pollutants. And it's also found to be destructive in other ways. Some of the chemicals can be cancer causing. They can interrupt hormones in the bodies of humans and animals. And these fluids can get into the groundwater and run into our streams and lakes. There they can cause problems. The liquid waste that's injected into the deep wells may cause earthquakes. In fact, it has been found to cause earthquakes. So far, they've been small. They haven't been really damaging, but we don't really know the impact of that with our plate tectonics. So in summary, this is what you remember. That natural gas forms with crude oil, but at higher temperatures. Natural gas burns more cleanly than petroleum and produces fewer greenhouse gases like CO2. And fracking is a new method for extracting natural gas. However, it may be linked to groundwater contamination and small earthquakes in areas that would not normally see earthquakes. So for review, and these are questions for you to answer. What is fracking and how does it work? How is natural gas different from crude oil? And why is natural gas considered more environmentally sound than other fossil fuels? And finally, what are some problems with fracking? I have attached an article, and this is optional, talking about the regulation of methane, which is a byproduct of natural oil. That is one of the gases that cause problems in our climate change. And so last week, I believe, April 28th, the Senate voted to reverse the former president's move to weaken Obama era regulations designed to reduce climate changing methane emissions from oil and gas fields. And they believe that it's critical for the president's goal to slash US emissions in half over the next decade and then none at all by 2050. So, yes, we are concerned about methane. So, we are still left to find solutions for our energy use. That's all. As I said, that's purely optional. I just wanted to throw that out to you that the things that we study are relevant. They're relevant to our life today. And read everything. Be curious about your community, your state, your country, and the world. And that's how we grow. So that's all for today. And you all be well. I will see you tomorrow in reading. Take care.